Hello, and welcome back to Elden Ring. It has been a little while. Maybe not for you, but it has been for me. Because, as you can see, this is the character that we used for prepping for Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. And in the Lanedale Ashen Capital part, I started coming down with something. It wasn't bad, but it kind of messed with my voice, and so I decided to not play or talk after that, and I recorded that like 10 days before the DLC came out, and you may have noticed the quality of those videos dropped just a bit because I was doing that. Like, while showing off this character, I explained that I had faith for some incantations, and I forgot incantations like Electrify Armament, which are quite good. So, whoopsie on my part. Kinda wish I could go back and do those better, but here we are. I pre-ordered the DLC, so we have this. We can definitely use this to do some funny things. But the DLC is out, and there's an NPC here, so we can talk to them.
Ah, were you guided here by kindly Miquella? I am Leda. And like you, I was guided by faith along his honorable path. Touch the withered arm, and you too will be transported to the realm of shadow where Miquella the Kind now dwells. My compatriots are there already. Like us, they have heard kindly Miquella's call. If you can find them, they are certain to lend you aid. Come now, touch the withered arm, and travel to the realm of shadow. I will not be far behind. May we meet again. Come now, I will not be...
Very cool cape. Cool helmet. Cool voice. I hope that you don't backstab us in the future. But now we can touch the withered arm and head into the realm of shadows. And I don't know if this is going to be a loading screen or a cutscene, which will determine if I talk or not through it. Which, speaking of talking, I'm still ever so slightly sick. You have to turn backwards whenever you teleport somewhere. I don't make the rules. But, yeah, so if I ever... We can get to that in a minute. Real quick, if I'm ever... Like, if I ever just stop moving and stop talking, that's because I mute myself to cough. And giant fire guy. But yeah, like I said, I still slightly sick. So again, it's not that bad, but things like thinking are kind of hard. And in general, talking and playing are kind of difficult to do. So this is not going to be my best performance in terms of gameplay or commentary. So I'm sorry in advance, but I didn't want to wait and I wanted to give live thoughts instead of a voiceover like I typically do. But red flesh mushroom. I am going to do this with every item, where I check it once I get it. That would probably be here somewhere. Yes. Easily found everywhere in the Realm of Shadows. You can read that if you want. I don't care that much for consumables, so I'm not going to read those descriptions, but for equipment, weapons, armor stuff, yes. Gravesite Plain. I've actually never looked at a map. If you even can look at the maps. You can. A somber plain covered in spirit graves. The spiral tower of the Horn Scent lies to the northwest, and the entire expanse is marred by the harrowing ravages of war. So, Horn Scent. Would that be like the omens? Like Moog? I'm gonna miss so much, but oh well. Shadows. Can we... Right. We can't attack them. I was gonna say... They're like shadow enemies. Typically you need to have them touch light. But not here. Alright, so we got... Broken Rune, used to gain 500 runes. And I'm guessing Rod of Fruit would be here. Again, you can pause and read that description. It's not a problem. I'm not saying it's a problem, but like an objective problem, that is. But a problem I always have with open world games is that there are so many options on where to go. And so when it's your first run, he's not aggressive, so we can leave him be. Black Firefly. FromSoft know what they're doing. That is a genius thing to call it. Flies in burnt and war-torn lands. Again, you can read that, but calling a firefly a pyrefly, the people at FromSoft are absolute geniuses when it comes to the most simple of things. Dog. And we can fight fire with fire. It works. And like, it's saying we can lock on to these guys, which means they are enemies. But they're not being aggressive. And I hold the general rule that if something isn't trying to kill you, you shouldn't try to kill it. Because friends, or at least something that isn't trying to kill you in a FromSoft game, is very rare. And so you take every opportunity you can get. And he pulled an axe out. See, now I hope that the ones behind us aren't aggressive. Because... oh boy, that would be awkward. And I was about to say, and I hear footsteps. Alright, so... oh. I cannot... ooh. I cannot remember his name. But there was some NPC... from the Dark Souls 3 DLC. The final one. And they had a giant great hammer like that. And I cannot remember their name because I have not... ow. Because I have not played the Dark Souls 3 DLC in forever. Black Steel Great Hammer and Black Knight Greaves. That brings us to a heavy load. Tragic. But physical, holy great hammer, strength, and faith scaling. Weapon of the Black Knights, servants of Mesmer the Impaler. Great hammer of black steel with decorative embellishments in gold. Blessed with an Erdtree incantation, further holy imbuement will amplify the effect and greatly increase the armament's power. Guard counters cause a burst of power. That sounds pretty good. And only weighs 12. I don't know how much the other great hammers weigh because I don't use great hammers. But we can do this because, like I said, Blasphemous Blades heals when you get kills. Icon Shield and Blessed You Talisman generate health over time. Taker's Cameo, you get health when you kill enemies, just like the Blasphemous Blade. So they all together add up to being lots of health. And as you can see there, ooh. So that's like a Horror's Lose Stomp mixed with Hoarfrost Stomp. Neat. But as you can see there, a single one-handed heavy attack from the Greatsword knocked the enemies down, letting us get a critical hit. So Assassin's Crimson Dagger as well. But because I'm running a great sword, a normal sword, a great shield, and one of the heaviest sets in the game, kind of need to go with one of these. Though nope, not quite enough. But we're not too far away with our 41 endurance. Fire coil. I'm going to have a very difficult time finding some of these. Because I have a lot of items in the inventory. Here. Uses FP to conjure a tiny fire snake. A device of fire used by Mesmer's soldiers. Lingering embers bundled into a coil. Craftable item. Uses FP to conjure tiny fire snakes from the spot that it is thrown. The writhing snakes pursue foes. Fire was a symbol of the crusade, and even Mesmer's rank-and-file soldiers would wield it. Neat. Though I'm not super big on crafting stuff, I think it's a very neat idea. It's just not something I use because that is consumable, and in general I don't use consumables. Dew gem. That's probably a crafting item. Yep. Glows at night and blossoms mainly at the waterside. So you can read that if you want. It looked pretty cool though. Though that may just because I love blue. But like I said, charged attacks from greatswords, if they don't outright kill, then they can stun or stance break, which, like I said, very, very good, especially for keeping yourself alive. But white flesh mushroom, is that another crafting? It is. Again, you can pause and read that. Blessing of America. Again, I am going to do this with pretty much every single item, so sorry if this isn't what you're into. But completely restores HP and heals all ailments. A special physic blessed by America, the Queen of the Erdtree, completely restores HP and heals all ailments. America once created several of these physics for Mesmer's sake, but never again. Once created several of these. So are these like the divine blessing, I think they're called, from Dark Souls? They kind of look like this, and they're pretty rare, and you can only, I believe you can only hold one. And they're apparently pretty good. These ones are being friendly, so. Skidoo tree fragment. Don't kill me. We can summon Mimic Tear, that is worrying. Bolsters Skidoo Tree Blessing. Oh boy, that's a lot of words. Alright. A splinter of the Skidoo Tree that contains golden brilliance, acquired at the Church of America and other places in the realm of shadow. Consume these at sites of grace to bolster your Skidoo Tree Blessing. The Skidoo Tree Blessing bolsters the bearer's ability to deal and negate damage, but has no influence outside the realm of shadows. It is said that when the Skidoo Tree crumbles from its core, that it will scatter across the entire realm of shadow. The people of the Erdtree collect the splinters and use them in prayer. So this gives you more damage and defense, but is specific to the DLC. Okay. So there have been apparently multiple trailers. I have seen a small portion of one. And that was it. So I saw, like, from what I remember, there was a blue field and there was a scarlet rot thing. And a giant pot. This is a new area that we're unfamiliar with, so I may fall back into the things that I did when first playing Elden Ring, of randomly stop and... I was about to say randomly stop and press lock-on because the lock-on in Elden Ring was broken. And it let you see so many different traps. Okay. You are very fast. So let's see what this does. Not as much as I was hoping. But not bad. Our healing is evil. Don't do that. Yeah, like, I've heard that they nerfed my precious child, the Blasphemous Blade. But I don't see it. This thing is still busted. I don't know how they could have nerfed this thing. It is... Well, I mean, it's a great sword, so, like, by default it's busted, but still. It's busted. It's too strong. Oh, rain. Love rain. Anyways. A Savage Claw. Ooh. That's new. But strength, dex, bloodlust buildup. Weapon in the form of our carnivorous beast's vicious claws. Used to perform bestial slashing attacks uncanny to humankind. An imitation of the esoteric technique of the horned warriors. Those who carry this weapon wield it as though they've been possessed by a savage beast. Skill Savage Claws. Pounce like a beast to viciously slash into foes with left and right claws. Oh. It's called the Beast Claw. That's from Bloodborne. What was that? If you do a little hop and you don't lose stamina, then you're good. Anyways, not resin. That would be... Yep. Again, you can pause and read that. But... just did me that right at the beginning, like right as we walked into the DLC, I went, I'll get back to that, and I never got back to that. So that I skipped over was FromSoft is really, really good at making vistas and beautiful scenery and knowing how to make a good screenshot, but then also just have a good game. Which we're right back here at the beginning, so there we go. Use one skidoo tree fragment. Use two. Alright, so the 1 and 0 is how many upgrades we've gotten, not how many we have. Gotcha, gotcha. Alright, so we can go left or straight. We can go straight first. But if you look around, there's just so many places to go in an open world game. And it's kind of hard to tell where you've been and where you haven't been. And I very easily get distracted. And I've said it before in the preparing for the Shadow of the Erdtree run of I am a bit scatterbrained. And that can make open world games very difficult. Hefty cracked pot. Who threw a pebble at me? Who's the war criminal who threw a pebble at me? I will find you. There you go. Alright. Greater Potentates Cookbook 1. Yeah, so we saw the giant cracked pots in the one trailer. That's one of the few things that I saw. And then cookbooks. So, down here, Greater Potentates Cookbook 1 gets you the hefty fire pot. And then up here, 1 out of 10. Throw enemies to inflict severe fire damage. It takes 3 red flesh mushrooms and 2 black pyre flies. Okay. As I've said, not big on crafting. I think it's a neat idea. I just don't think that the craftables are potent enough to warrant actually using them. Especially when you have very powerful weapons and very powerful skills. Knew it could happen. But we can't go anywhere from here. So what was the point? What's the point of breaking the game if breaking the game doesn't do nothing? Dog. Dog. But yeah, the dog bit us. And it did a bit of damage. But we instantly got all that health back. So that's why I went with this build to head into the DLC first. Because it has so much health regen, it ends up having a lot of survivability. Used to gain 10,000 runes. This is a broken rune. This is a shadow realm. Shadows have to get... Ow. Ow. Alright, 1, those were some very potent rocks. 2, we are back at full health. So... like, it's a very good build for heading into the DLC. Because of the health regen. Both passive and active. And then also heavy longsword, so you can use electrify armament. But moving on. This is another thing FromSoft does very well, is letting you get just absolutely everywhere. Especially just being able to climb on top of buildings. It's very nice. Blade of Mercy. So we've got a second Bloodborne weapon. Caught on to this one a lot faster. Would that be... yeah. Raises attack power after each critical hit. A thin, blood-stained dagger. No longer fit for use. Raises attack power after each critical hit. Horn sent and employed this to honorably end the suffering of a compatriot. After claiming numerous lives, the dagger is now broken, but has acquired a spectral aura. So, good for critical hit builds then. Which, great shield, great sword, either charge heavy or guard counters. You can stance break a lot of enemies. And that lets you get lots of critical hits. So that could be good with the build we're creating here. Good to see, good to see. And let's talk to you. I know. All your resentment lingers yet. Oh, his body's hanging. The raw stuff from which I shall surely forge a curse upon the dastard Mesmer's head, upon America's children each and all. I mean, each and all seems a bit much. Like, most I can definitely get. Most of them are evil. Hi. Dog. Dog. Dead. He's got a pot. Spirit Gravestone. Alright. And he disappeared. I thought he was gonna throw it at me. But the stone that we got, that might actually be one of these, actually. Here. Mainly found on the Gravesite plane. Again, you can pause and read this, because I don't care for crafting items. Also, guard counters are very good for dogs. And knights. And many other enemies. And are you a statue or an enemy? Good, good. Would hate to have to kill you. And... oh, a painting! I am horrible at finding these, so... we're not gonna find this, by the way. Paintings are one of the things that I had to look up. But we can look at it. Work of a wandering artist, reminiscent of a painting titled The Sacred Tower. I mean, it is just called The Sacred Tower painting. It's not very reminiscent of it, if it is it. But this painter is said to have captured the landscape seen during the last moments of those welcomed into death's embrace. The soul of the painter and vestiges of the dead's last moments can be discovered by visiting the location depicted even now. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find that. But Cool. Hopefully we get good rewards out of that when I look it up. After I beat the DLC. And let's see if we can... Nope. Nope. Alright, so not as close as I thought. Now, I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm not dealing with that thing. That is massive and on fire. Yep, that's an enemy. I don't like all the enemy-ness that's going on right now. Gonna be honest. Stay away from me. Yeah, these things look like birds. And I don't like birds. Because... like, people complain about dogs, and... I thought that people were delusional because the dogs in the Souls games were not that bad. At least not when you have a shield. I hope these things aren't enemies. But yeah, the dogs weren't bad, but I would always tell people, don't complain about the dogs because Miyazaki will absolutely make something worse. And then Elden Ring came out and there were birds, so he absolutely made something worse. And I don't like the birds. And those look like birds, so... not dealing with them. Goat thing. I love that Elden Ring just has a wildlife. Just normal little enemies. Or normal animals. Western Nameless Mausoleum. And... okay. So we can pop this. We can pop Bestial Vitality. We can pop Flame Grant Me Strength. And we can make our way in. And... whoa, 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 whoa. Right, but... you look like a Spirit Ash. So, getting a legendary Spirit Ash from you would be pretty cool. Whoa! Getting that weapon would be very cool. Ow! That was half our health. But... yeah, the Spirit Ash looking enemies. If I remember correctly, are immune to all status effects. Oh, you can heal. How many heals do you have? Do you just have one heal? Or do you have several? Because if you have several, that's honestly... like, I'd be mad about it. But only for like half a second. I was about to say, because you're honestly not bad. Like, I'm kind of destroying you right now. Which is a good thing to say right before the tables turn. And I get one shot by some random move that I've never seen before. I mean, fair play. Can't complain about you pulling out the me strategy. You didn't need to back up there, because I missed. But alright. First try. Good to have these, like, easy early bosses. Great Sword of Solitude. Armor of Solitude. Alright, so... B! B scaling in strength. Wow, that is very good. And it's a great sword. And has pierce. All very good things. Steel greatsword wielded by the Knights of the Solitary Jail. Through a secret rite, they relinquish their hearts for heightened battle prowess. I'd love to do that. Next, they engrave their blades with two crests, one depicting the light of birth, and the other solitude. Unique skill, Solitary Moon Slash. Sharply slash downward using the greatsword, shooting forward an arc of light. Strong attack allows for an advancing follow-up. Alright, so that skill looked very cool. And it was faster than Taker's Flames. Let's see. Range comparison. They look about the same. But very cool. And then, whoa, that is heavy. Oh boy, that is very heavy. Got a lot of poise though. But steel chest armor of the Knights of the Solitary Jail, part of a heavy armor set that covers the whole body in overlapping plates of steel. And bedecked with a black cloak. The nameless mausoleums of the realm of shadow are said to hold the spirits of warriors who lost their names or their hearts. And then these look to all be the same. Although this is a very cool looking set. And we can put on the helmet. This looks pretty cool. Though it is very, very heavy. So, we can't. Still though, a pretty cool boss. Though, like I said, greatswords are busted, so I feel like I would have had a much more difficult time if I went in with any other weapon class. Because you can walk just about anywhere with a greatsword and just win. Because they're greatswords. And greatswords are busted. And he had a greatsword. And so, like, greatsword v greatsword, pretty evenly matched, but if the enemy is using a greatsword and we're using something else, then we're gonna have a bit more of a difficult time. But this guy teleported away before, so we can kill him now. Silver Horn Tender. And a skidoo tree fragment. Silver Horn Tender doesn't ring a bell. So, I forgot what it looked like as well, which is not going to help. Oh, here. Temporarily boost item discovery. So it's the silver pickled foul foot. But it looks cooler. Old currency used by the horn scent, made by coating spiral horns with silver. Temporarily boost item discovery. Can also be sold for a high price. Ooh. These trinkets were once symbolic of society's upper echelons. Neat. Oh, on the left side, below the amount of runes we have, there's the blessings that we have. So we can tell how many buffs we've gotten. And our power and defenses are yellow. Which I'm assuming would mean that that's what they are after the buffs and nerfs of the DLC. I would assume. You are unbelievably rude. I was going to let you live. We're gonna mark that guy. I'm not gonna fight him yet, because again, he is massive. And fire. And he's probably going to, like, 1 to 2 shot us. And I would rather not deal with that until we have some more blessings to increase our damage and defense. Well, couldn't lock on, which means they're not enemies. And we can get to you in a minute for now. Erdtree fragment. Card words coalesce. I abandon here the first of the flesh of my body. Good for you. Oh. That's a cool looking sword. And a cool looking cape that probably won't have enough defense, but looks very cool. He's not gonna go this far this way, is he? There's no way.
Fie, another. Treading the heels of Miquella. Then, as that woman would surely say, we are in our purposes well aligned. But understand, your kind are not forgiven. The Erdtree is my people's enemy. By Marika long betrayed. Set aflame. I believe Miquella's apologies when he says our delivery will come, but never will I see your kind as worthy.
Alright. I didn't do anything to you. I didn't do anything to any of your friends. Unless you're friends with Moog, in which case he deserved it. What's with the change in color? Moon? But you say that the Erdtree is your people's enemy. Here's the thing. I'm what some folk would call a tarnished, not an Erdtree. Alright? I'm not your enemy. And I don't know why you're throwing shade at me when all I've done is kill a snake to get a sword and killed a monarch guy to get into here. Alright, I've done nothing to you.
And yet my oath I cannot overlook. If Miquella it is whom you would seek, then comrade, allow me to give you this. These are the sites of the crosses I found. I urge you, follow after Miquella. As long as you abide by his footfalls, you will be no enemy to me.
Cross map. Map of cross sites received. Check in inventory. Would that be here? Yes. A simple map drafted by a horn scent. Marked by the locations of golden crosses. These crosses indicates Miquella's footprints. Oh. I thought that horn scent meant omen, but now I realize it probably means someone who was sent by the omens. You weren't sent by Moog, were you? Because, I met him not too long ago, and he told me that new directive is to give me $20. Anyways. So... Alright, so... These things appear on the map then. Whatever those things are.
I urge you, as long as you abide by his footfalls, you will be no enemy to me.
Alright, so a lot of NPCs in these games, not a lot, but in most of these games, there's an NPC that starts off friendly, but then tries to kill you later. I was kind of thinking maybe that was the first NPC that we talked to right at the beginning. Now I'm thinking it might be this guy. Empyrean Blood Burgeon. That's probably one of these, isn't it? Yep. Exceedingly rare to find. You can read that. I can't... At first I thought that was a great sword. Like when I got the Sight of Grace. But now I'm thinking that's a curved greatsword. The curved part is very important, and I will have much less respect for you if it is curved, so... Cool cape, though.
Ah, Lady Leda spoke of you. You're that tarnished. Guided here by kindly Mikola. Won't we all? I am Freya. I once fought alongside General Radahn. In battle, you can be sure I'll hold my own.
Alright, so General Radahn is the enemy. Or an enemy. So... by proxy, you're an enemy. But if you help me out on a boss, that can change very quickly. Or if you become a merchant. Because I do love merchants. But... even though you're aligned with an enemy, I don't think that you're gonna betray me. You don't give the I'm going to stab you in the back vibes. Even though you aren't a fellow greatsword user.
Oh, another thing. Did you speak to our dour little friend? If you've yet to do so, have him give you a map of the Cross's whereabouts. You'll find more of them dotted about these lands. They are Mikola the Kind's footprints. If you've yet to do so, assuming you...
Alright. So, it looks like the path goes out that way. Which, yes, it does. The path also goes out that way. There's also a doorway here. Now, I just realized there might be caves here, and I am garbage at finding caves. Which kind of sucks because I absolutely love caves. But... what was that? Anyways... I will quickly say that I do have a timer for whenever I'm playing, like, live. Or at least when I'm doing unedited content. Like this, where I play and talk at the same time. And that's a very long path, but we're gonna go down it. We have to go up to go down it. Poor dog. Anyways, I try to keep stuff like this to be around an hour, And we are at 55 minutes. Well, if the dog is gonna jump down or get smacked down once and then jump down once, I'm just gonna keep moving on. Bats. Enemies that I'm used to. Coward, coward, coward. Coward, coward. There you go. Ooh, these ones give broken runes. Right. So I don't know how much longer this path is going to go. But kinda hopefully it goes on for a long time because this game is fun. But also kinda hopefully not too long because, like I said, I don't like going over an hour. So there's a site of grace here. There's a what is that? I can't lock onto it, but I'm not trusting it. I'm gonna trust this though. I'm not trusting that though. We can lock onto it. It's an enemy. I don't trust it. Alright, but we are 57 minutes in. We just got a site of grace, so I feel like this is a pretty good place to end it. We found the Church of Consolation here. Oh, there's a thing there. Wonder when we'll get to that. But we found the Scorched Ruins. We found the Western Nameless Mausoleum. We found Redmane Freya and Horn Scent. We found a boss that we're going to go back to later. We have this and this, so 2 locations. That takes a moment to load. But we got the Great Sword of Solitude. We got the Black Steel Great Hammer. We got the Beast Claw. We got the Armor of Solitude. And we got the Black Knight Greaves, which just hit me that Black Knights, like in Dark Souls. So you can read that if you want. Not doing it now because we're pretty much out of time. But good progress. Rain. And what is that above our head? It looks beautiful, but it looks awful, so classic FromSoft. But with that being said, I feel like we made decent progress, especially since it's our first time here and I don't know anything. So that means we're going to spend a bit of time meandering and exploring, but still pretty good progress. I'm happy with that. And, yeah.